Hello everyone, my name is Nick Brandt. I'm the product designer for the Certify team, and today I'll be covering what we'll be focusing on for 13.1. So to start, we'll be working through the ability to trace requirements to tests. And this really begins to tie the loop for requirements management and being able to show when a requirement has actually been implemented or satisfied. And this issue really revolves around being able to showcase on the current requirements management interface the status of a requirement, whether or not it has been satisfied or not. And as we continue to expand upon this, we'll also be able to show things such as when a requirements test has actually failed, as well as when a test is actually missing. In addition to traceability for requirements management, we're also working on other improvements to the requirements management experience. The first one being the ability to manually mark a requirement as satisfied. So, I just talked about being able to tie tests to requirements and having that as more of an automated way to showcase when a requirement is satisfied. But there are also times when it may not make sense or even be possible to have a test to mark a requirement as satisfied. So there needs to be a way to manually be able to mark that requirement that it has been fulfilled. So this issue really works to solve that, as well as provide a solution in the meantime before we have traceability fully developed as a solution to add some value to users in order to be able to mark certain requirements as satisfied. Another way working to improve requirements management is adding filtering support to the list. So currently there's no way to be able to quickly find or search for specific requirements within the listing, as well as do sorting based off of different things such as the creation date, as well as the title. So this is where we're going to start adding in the support for that to provide a more efficient means to manage and view your requirements listing. The last thing with requirements management is working through the ability to turn off and on the visibility or access of requirements management on a project. So similarly to how issues and things like the wiki work, where you can turn those off per project, we want to also provide that for requirements management, just so in the case where teams aren't utilizing it, we don't want to continue to take up valuable real estate on their screen. Still showcasing this. In addition to requirements management, we're working through blocking issue support, and the first of those being the ability to sort issues in an issue list by the number of items they are blocking. There's been a good amount of interest by users in being able to really elevate or highlight issues that are blocking the most other issues or are deemed like a high priority in terms of really unblocking other work that can be done. And so this issue really works to be able to allow users to highlight those specific blockers. In addition, we're also working to improve blocked issues on issue boards. So currently we do offer an affordance or an indication on issue boards when an issue is blocked, but we don't provide any additional context as to what are the actual dependencies or what are the things that are blocking those issues. So this issue works to solve that by providing more context around what are the actual dependencies of that blocked issue without having to make the user navigate away from the issue board to find this information. In addition to blocking issue support, we're also working through some service desk issues. The first of those being the ability to allow private comments on service desk issues, and which is actually going to extend to all commentable resources within GitLab. So in the service desk issue case, oftentimes a customer will be attached to those issues and they'll be receiving notifications or updates, comments based off of that issue through their email. So there's really no way for an internal team to have an internal conversation with one another if they need to leave the customer out of certain discussions. And this will require them to either create another issue to do that or have those conversations outside of GitLab. And so this issue works to solve that by allowing per comment or per thread basically marking of comments to make those private so that only the internal team will be notified of those discussions. And as you can see, this can also be something that can be valuable outside of just service desk issues, where other public conversations may warrant at times an internal conversation. And so being able to mark those as private just makes a lot of sense. In addition to that, we're also working on the ability to add issue participants via email address for service desk issues. So oftentimes for the service desk case, an issue may be created for a customer, and there's no way for us to be able to add those customers to the issue in order to receive those updates. If they had created the issue themselves through emailing the service desk email address, they would automatically be attached to that issue. But outside of that, there's no way for us to actually add those customers to an issue to receive those updates. So this issue works to resolve that by allowing the possibility to essentially add a customer via email address to an issue so they can continue to receive updates and status on what their ticket is currently up to. And last of all, I'm working through some requirements management usability testing. I've actually completed all the sessions as of yesterday. There was 8 in total, but now I'll be working through some synthesis to really do some affinity mapping, pull out the highlights and insights as to what are a lot of the common problems that people are facing, as well as some of the more generative insights that we obtained as far as what can we do next to really provide the most value to our users, and what are some of those things that are kind of deal breakers, things that they would need in order to adopt something like our offering. So that's what we'll be working with on the requirements management usability testing. And that really wraps up for 13.1. Thanks for listening.